Hello everyone, welcome to this special episode. Today we're going to be covering the topic, the top 20 things you should know before you lease a car. I'm Michael Ruger of Greenbush Financial Group. With me here today is Andy James, the owner of Rensselaer Honda. The reason why you have both a financial planner and the owner of a car dealership sitting side by side for this one is the decision to lease or buy a car is both financial, and also there's a bunch of nuances associated with leasing a car that we don't know as much about, which Andy does this stuff every single day. So Andy, Thank you for doing this today. So the reason why we say it's a very financial decision is you're probably going to buy a car every 3 to 7 years. So you might go through this transaction 10, 20 times over your lifetime, and to know which decision is the right decision. If you make the wrong decision, it could cost you thousands of dollars multiple times over your lifetime. So we just want to make sure people are informed and they're able to make the right decision for themselves. So we did a video about a week ago on like this buying versus leasing.
Right.
And a ton of people reached out to kind of say, it was mostly questions on the leasing side. Like how does like the durations work? Like what if I go over on the mileage stuff? All that came into play. So we figured like having Andy here today to clear some of that stuff up, that we'll kind of start this with educating people on all those leasing questions.
Okay.
And then in the second half, we'll talk about the lease versus buy scenario. For someone who has never leased a vehicle before, like just basic structure, how does a lease work? Like what are the decisions you have to make when you lease a car?
Well, you have to decide if you drive a lot of miles, for one. If you are somebody that puts on 25, 30,000 miles a year, which a lot of people do, then I would not recommend a lease.
Gotcha.
Some people love to keep their car for 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
Yeah.
They just don't like to buy a car. Right. They want to keep it. They want to keep it forever.
Now, when you lease a car, you're technically just borrowing it from Honda, right? Like versus like buying a car,
that's correct.
You own it. So it's like really the big thing between lease and buy.
That's true.
Hey, I'm borrowing this. I'm going to pay Honda while I'm using it. I have to stay under the mileage allowance, but then I give it back or buy it out at the end of the lease. It's
correct.
Kind of how leasing.
Correct. The title goes to Honda. You don't own the car, but you're only paying for like half the car.
Yeah.
So the residuals are typically like 55, 58, 62, whatever percentage. So all you're doing is paying for that percentage of the car.
Got it. Okay. Instead of the whole thing when you buy
a car, you're paying for 100%.
Which is why the payments can be lower, because you're not buying the whole thing. Kind of using the same car as a comparison, if I lease a car versus buy a car, are interest rates typically lower on a lease? Is it like completely rise? Let's say it's the same person with the same credit score, they want to lease versus buy the same exact vehicle. How does that work with interest rates?
It's pretty similar usually. It depends. So what they do with interest rates is Honda uses what they call, and all manufacturers use what they call a money factor.
Okay.
But it's basically a calculation that's based on the interest rates. Normally, under normal circumstances, the lease rates are the same as the interest rates.
Have to have a higher credit score to lease a vehicle versus buying a vehicle, because it's the way lease vehicles have to be new, right?
Yes.
You don't lease used vehicles, right? So does the credit, like if you're not above a certain credit score, you're like leasing might not be an option?
Yeah, I would say that the credit score has to be a little higher than the bad credit. But if it's normal credit, most people that lease have good credit.
Gotcha.
So it's not really. Yeah, if you have bad credit, then you're gonna have to finance, and then you're gonna have to have a higher interest rate.
Got it.
Payments will be higher and so forth.
Got it.
People who get into car accidents and then they fix it, I can't say I recommend that.
When they're in a lease? When they're in a lease? Or on
any car.
Any car.
Because there's this company out there that you've all heard of called Carfax.
Yes.
So anytime you get in a car accident, unless it's something in your driveway, if it's reported by the police or your insurance company, it goes right against the car.
Yeah.
So when we put them out on there in a used car lot, which we don't keep too many of these cars, even if it was a little small fender or something like that, it says bad Carfax. Now the advantage of leases, if you get in a car accident and it might be $15,000 worth of damage, you could turn that car in at the end of the lease and there's no penalty, and you don't care about the Carfax. You just get another car.
Was what are the options at the end of the lease? So I've been through my 3 years. I'm now at the end of the 3 years. I either turn this back in, buy, like, what are all the options that are available when you get to the end?
All right, so one option is you can buy it out for yourself.
And is there a set amount in the lease? When I do my lease at the beginning on day one, do I already know what the amount is?
It's called the residual amount. Other one, which is the more common one, is people turn it in.
So I get to the end of my 3 years. I'm a little bit over on miles. The residual value of my contract was $24,000. If I turn this thing in and I would have to pay the extra overage.
Yep.
You guys will say, wait a second, we are going to buy this car from you. We're going to actually cover that extra $2,000.
Yep.
You're not out of pocket anything. And then I have the freedom to say, what's the next vehicle I'm going to lease? And then the negotiations start from scratch.
Yeah.
Does it matter what condition that car is in? How does that work? So if someone dinged my door and I just decide, I'm going to throw the keys back to Honda and I don't have to worry about it, is there something where it's like it's got to be in a certain condition, and who assesses the...
So if you turn it in and Honda comes and picks it up, they're going to allow you about $1,500.
allowance for wear
And usually it's tires.
You have some life-changing event. Let's say you're in a 3-year lease, you're only 1 year in, and you're like, I was working from home, but now I'm working for someone where I got to go into the office.
Right, I got to
So, I know I'm going to crush the mile, but it's before it's starting to happen. So at that point, if I'm only 1 year into a 3-year, what should I be thinking about doing to...
It depends on how early you are in the lease. 1 year is really tough.
So there's not a lot of
options. But if it's a year and a half, 2 years in, fairly common that we can get you out and,
Hey, we're at a good spot, right?
Yeah, you're
past the 1.5 year marker. Just make a call, see if there's a way.
Yeah, at least try. Yeah.
Or you might just say, hey, like we were talking about before, I'm gonna have to buy this car out. When it's all done, I'm gonna go.
I
like the car.
I'm just gonna keep driving. I love this car. I don't want any more payment on the car. I'm just gonna drive it. When I'm over on the miles, I'll buy it.
At the end, you've got that residual value built into your lease contract. Is that negotiable?
No.
So how do I say that's the contract?
They don't negotiate with us or the customer.
Yeah.
It's a one set price. It's right in a contract.
Yeah.
$24,812.16 or whatever it is. That's the amount.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the term, that's what it is.
Got it.
And then if you want to buy it, if the customer has to pay sales tax.
Oh, okay.
If you buy it.
Yeah. Because you're going to pay them out plus the sales tax you haven't paid yet. Cause you haven't paid
whatever's left. Right. That's $24,000 plus sales tax.
Got it. Does it vary from car company to car company a lot, the terms of the lease, how leases work, or is it pretty standardized across the industry?
It's pretty standardized as far as miles, but I think that, if you're looking at a $100,000 Chevy Silverado, I don't know the facts on that, but the residuals and the miles payment will probably be a little higher. But it's pretty standard, I think, across the board.
Okay.
The residuals vary greatly, as we spoke about.
So out of all of these things we've talked about, who's kind of that ideal, I should probably lease my car?
So it's somebody who likes to have a new car every couple of years.
Yeah.
Can handle the miles. It's most people can, but so if you can keep yourself in that 10 to 15 or 18,000 miles per year, it's going to be a less expensive payment. If you drive a very few miles, like let's say some people only drive 8,000 miles a year, we won't really recommend a lease for you because
you just drive
just drive it and keep it for 7 or 8 years.
Who is a good fit to buy a car then? So lease is really for low miles, like buying, like being in a new car every 3 years. The buy would kind of be the opposite of that. Right?
Yeah, I would say it's the opposite. Somebody likes to keep their car, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and that's what they've been doing their whole life. Or
drive a bunch of miles.
Right. Or if a lot of people paying cash right now because the interest rates are higher, so they're not going to lease.
Oh, so there's that option because I can pay in cash.
Yes, pay cash.
What are some of the trends just in general you're seeing in the auto industry that are changing people's buying habits, like that could sway the buy versus lease? We just talked about the price of cars going up, which is now swaying people more towards leasing.
Yeah.
But are there other trends in the auto industry that are affecting people's behaviors when it comes to purchasing vehicles?
So
leasing?
one that comes to mind is the used car market is very, very strong. It's been very, very strong since the beginning of COVID. There's just less of them out there because there were less purchases, less trade-ins. People were holding onto their cars.
Mhm.
So what I'm seeing a lot now is like friends of mine whose children are 16, 18 years old, where they would buy a $10,000 to $15,000 used car. They're not out. They're not nice cars. They're 20, they're 25, they're 28.
Yeah.
And now you get into an area where you got to either write a check for $26,000 plus tax,
Yeah.
or you can finance it. How much is the payment? 60 months, $450 a month. Or I can lease a car for my son,
Yeah.
and I have all the safety features, and I have a brand new car, and I know that he's going to school at Oneonta, and I know that he is going to be safe.
All right, thanks for doing this today. Like a lot of great information, and like hopefully this information was valuable. If you ever have any questions on the financial aspect of the leasing buying, please feel free to reach out to me at greenbushfinancial.com. Andy's team is super knowledgeable on leasing, the features of leasing, all the stuff we talked about today. So if you ever have any questions, we'll put all their contact information in the description of the video below. Absolutely reach out, right, with questions.
Any questions. It could be service questions, anything you have. Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.